The fact that my dear friend Joan Corneli Miller is alive today to receive this award is a miracle. Her tragic car crash 15 years ago, which I'll tell you about in a minute, should have killed her. Instead, it changed the entire course of her life and that of many others. At St. Mary's, I remember Joan being so full of life. She loved art, boys, and music. Joan and I made many attempts to be Carole King. The earth moved under my feet, and the earth at St. Mary's never did stop moving under her feet. Whether at a sock hop or prom, or shaking her pom-poms at games with class cheerleaders for all 4 years, Joan was in her glory, surrounded by songs, friends, and fellows. After graduating from St. Mary's Academy in 1975, Joan was, as she says, done with education and ready to earn some money. She worked a short time in retail and then spent 15 years working at several optical labs, including Opticraft, where she was employed until the time of her crash. At Opticraft, Joan also met John Miller, the love of her life, and married him in 1992. They planned to start a home-based business in addition to their optical lab careers. It was while attending a business convention in Utah that Joan's life took an abrupt, sideways turn. On June 12, 1999, one day before her 42nd birthday, a drunk driver hit Joan and John in their cars. You would never guess by looking at this lovely lady today that the crash shattered her skull into 24 pieces and triggered severe internal bleeding. After emergency brain surgery, Joan's family was told she had a 97% chance of dying. If she survived, she would most likely be in a vegetative state the rest of her life. But we're talking about Joan, tenacious, strong-willed, high-energy Joan. After 4 days in a coma, Joan beat the odds and came back. She spent 2 weeks in intensive care, then was flown back to Portland for intensive inpatient therapy at the Rehabilitation Institute of Oregon, or RIO, at Legacy Good Samaritan Hospital. Joan admits she wasn't exactly a model patient at first. She was confused, angry, and scared. But over time, she regained her strength, especially when she spent time in Rio's healing garden. Michelle Saint-Moffat, one of her Rio occupational therapists, told us, Joan was then, and still is, an amazing woman. She has overcome so many barriers and continues to remain positive. I have always loved how she can laugh at herself and find humor when others would want to cry. After leaving Rio, Joan underwent extensive outpatient therapy, as well as surgery to correct her many eye injuries. She got incredible support from her husband, John, who took leave from his work for 6 months to care for her, as did her large and loving family. Joan is one of 6 girls and has always been close to her parents and sisters, all of whom came to her aid after the crash. Joan now says that her short-term memory is a bit rough, but most people who meet her have no idea she is living with this traumatic brain injury. While Joan will never be able to work a typical job again, she has actually found her true calling, helping other people who live with traumatic brain injuries and talking to the public about the dangers of drinking and driving. Joan now volunteers once a week at the Rio Healing Garden. She also talks with other eye patients about visual issues and visits speech therapy classes at Pacific University. Professor Rick Lemoncello told us, I've changed the way I train students because of Joan. Also, my speech therapy students find her wisdom and experiences invaluable, and they remember her stories better than my lectures. In 2004, Joan and a friend founded the nonprofit organization Birdsong, a resource, referral, and support organization for survivors of brain injuries. Felipe Soriano, former president of Birdsong, says, "Because of Joan's work, organizations like Birdsong have been able to succeed in their mission of integrating the brain injury community by bringing people together and bringing them out of isolation. If the world had more Joans, I have no doubt that it would be a much better place." Joan also speaks about her experience to high school students in Oregon and to victim impact panels, letting DUI offenders and those at risk of offending know how their bad decisions could potentially change someone's life. Her speeches to these groups are always profoundly moving. Janelle Lawrence, Executive Director of Oregon Impact, told us, "After Joan starts to tell a story, you can feel the audience move from indifference to the realization that their choice to drink and drive could cause devastating injuries like Joan's." After her traumatic brain injury, Joan had every reason to sit at home feeling sorry for herself. However, her choice has been to devote her life to educating people about the dangers of drinking while impaired. Everyone in this room will drive home safer tonight because of Joan's efforts. Presenting Joan's award tonight is St. Mary's senior, Aiden Alumnae, who participates as a student leader in the St. Mary's SADD program, Students Against Destructive Decisions, an effort to increase awareness among students about the impact of poor choices young people can make, including underage drinking and driving. Please join with me in honoring our dear Joan Cornelli Miller, class of 1975, with the 2014 St. Mary's Academy Award for overcoming adversity.
Hi. Wow, thank you so much for that. It's wonderful. These past 14 years has been quite a ride. And I'm honored. I'm very much honored. Making it through this without crying is going to be one of the toughest things I've done in the past 14 years. And I've been through some pretty tough stuff. I can never thank the persons responsible for me receiving such a prestigious award, but you guys know who you are, right? Yeah, okay. So, Kathy, Richard, where did you go? You rock. You just rock. Yeah, we did, but you came out on top of it. None of this would have been possible, though, without some real heavy hitters, big heavy hitters, I'm telling you, and some of those people are sitting at our table. You know, a major part of the successes I've had in my journey came from things I learned at St. Mary's, although I didn't know I was learning at the time. The biggest thing was the more that you give back, the more people will be put in your path to help you, if not, and attracted you to help you on your pathway on your road to success. Incredible friends and teachers are testimony to that. From my let's start again, okay? From my favorite English teacher and friend, Sarah Friedel, I learned to always hold your head up high, be proud of who you are, and what you stand for. There's a greater picture for all of us, so sit tight, hang on, and be tough. You'll come. From my guitar teacher, Marie Steiner, I learned that not only is music the gateway to the soul, but you can touch or change a person's life with a simple strum of a guitar, kind words, or a song. I can't sing, so I chose the words. I'm gonna, not perfect, guys. A heckler, always a heckler. Some of the heavy hitters, though, I was talking about that I mentioned earlier, who God put in my pastor, Dr. Bruce Wojciechowski, a.k.a. Dr. Bruce. Who literally gave me back my world. His skills as a behavioral optometrist brought back the world I had lost as a result of my traumatic brain injury, all while reassuring me he was in it for the long haul. And it's been a long haul. And it's not over. His beautiful wife Nancy showed and taught me self-respect and dignity, probably without even knowing she was doing it. That's how good she is. As executive director of Oregon Impact, my best friend Susan Laird showed and taught me, gave me and provided her wisdom and friendship, and also a platform for me to share my message of good choices to students all over, of all ages, all over the Portland, Greater Portland area in Southwest Washington, and also the community at large. Kelly Sharp, she's the author of my biography, which will be allowing me to touch people all over the world and share with them that through perseverance, anyone can once again learn to make toast. In order to get that all figured out. However, my greatest and most cherished gift of all comes from the unconditional love of my husband, my rock, Joan. I must have done something right to have him share my life, that's for sure. Husband, you are my life. My parents, sisters, nieces, and nephews are always there for friendship and support, all of whom I never could have endured this journey alone. There's just no way. And if I haven't told each and every one of you just how much I love you, consider yourself full in front of God and everybody in this room. I love you! You know, this award confirms lessons I learned at St. Mary's. We may find our life's purpose in inconvenient and sometimes devastating ways. However, we're not here to just breathe the air and take up space. We're here to give back. My 4 years at St. Mary's are a cherished part of my past that I was able to implement my road to recovery. Again, read my book and you'll see what that's all about. Read my book, read Kelly's book. Might be a comic book. On my road to recovery, that, like I was mentioning, well, I'm unable to drive walking that road, and all you guys are by my side. I hope you know that. I couldn't have done this. There's no way I'd be able to make it through what I've gone through without support of so many people. Even if they're not there, I haven't seen them for years, I hang on to things of St. Mary's, and it just keeps making me go forward, helping me move forward. I want to thank you all so very much for allowing me to call you my friends. Thank you.